All right, welcome. Now, today we're going to do our first look through at some of the games I recently picked up. These are pretty cool. I scooped them on up. That's why I'm calling it something about scoop ups with games. I don't know. Whatever. It's going to be my cool, catchy title. Here, let's get into it. Now, I have a bunch of games over here that I've acquired over the past, just the past month that I'm trying to have a good time with. And I think they're really cool, and we're going to get into it. I'm going to tell you a little bit about it, why I acquired it, what I think about them. And maybe you'll think about getting something like this, right? This is gonna be kind of like my series about picking up games, stuff, whatever I think is cool. I'm just gonna show it to you guys. So let's start off with, I'm gonna spread it out by system. So I have technically 4 system stuff here. We got PS1, PS2, Xbox, and Xbox 360. So I'm a big game collector right now. Now, is my collection big? No, but I'm trying to build it right. I got some decent games. I got some decent stuff. So I'm trying to build it and see what I can do. So let's start off with, let's work our way back by starting with the PS2. Now this game, I saw this and I didn't know what I was looking at. And then I looked into it. Not when I say look into it, I mean, I didn't go oh, I meant I researched it online, and I saw there was actually a PS1 game, which I'm trying to get. But it looked crazy, and I basically watched it on YouTube just to see what it was about, and I watched the whole first game. I thought it was incredible. So this game, when I say incredible, I don't mean the gameplay is so good. I mean the story was really different and really weird, and I like that kind of stuff. So this is Galerions Ash. Now the PS1 game is called Galerions. This is the sequel, the continuation, and this is just as weird, if not maybe a little weirder, especially the opening to the game, which is actually the ending to the first game, the boss battle that you go through. It's so weird. It's just I don't even know how to describe this to you, but it's just so different. The main character has psychic powers, but he can only use them if he takes pills, and each pill helps him unlock a new psychic, lets him use one of those psychic abilities. And he's fighting these crazy people who each have their own special ability. I have not delved deep enough into this game to give you a more accurate description. That's the best I can do for right now, but it's definitely weird, definitely out there. I mean, look at some of this artwork. It's just wild. I flipped through the manual because I love having manuals. I miss them so much. But looking at some of this artwork, it's just so strange. Just look at this, right? It's just different. It's just weird. And it's one of those things that just drew me in because it was so different and weird. So I can't wait to really get through this game and experience it to see. The gameplay doesn't look like it's anything to write home about, but the concept and atmosphere looks like it's enough to keep me going. Next, let's go to PlayStation 1, because that was the only PS2 game I acquired recently. I'm a huge PlayStation 1 and 2 collector, specifically for RPGs. There's really cool, strange games, but like that one. So let's go to PS1. So for PS1, the first game that I will show you before the other two is a game that I did not know much about, but I saw a video and I saw the art style, I saw the gameplay. The gameplay didn't wow me that much. I'm not a huge fan of tank controls from back in the day, but the art style, the voice acting, and the concept was enough to get me to buy in. So I got Fear Effect 1. Fear Effect 2 is apparently a prequel to this. So I'm still going to try to get that one, but for right now, I want to play through the first game to kind of experience what came out first in not chronological, in release chronological order, what was released. This game, it's very different. It's it has a futuristic vibe to it. I have not played it yet, but from what I've seen, the voice acting looks cool. It's got a very 90s theme going on, at least to me. And I think it looks incredible, and I can't wait to play it. So check out Fear Effect. Look out some gameplay or something. It looks interesting. I recommend it. The next two, I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan, especially on the PlayStation. That's what I kind of grew up with. So I got 2 new Final Fantasy games to add to my collection. When I say new, they're new for me. I've played them before, but I've never owned them. So I would like to own them now. So this is Final Fantasy Anthology, which is 5 and 6. Basically, this is one of the cheapest ways to own Final Fantasy VI complete, in a box package. Super Nintendo, so way more pricey than this. This is the greatest hits version, unfortunately, but I like it. I wanted it to be able to play it. So greatest hits, while it's annoying that it stands out a little differently, I'm sure I will acquire the black disc case at some point. So this is just for now so I can play it. I've been playing through Final Fantasy VI again. Ugh, I love it. While Final Fantasy VII is probably one of my favorite games of all time, purely for nostalgia and the life-changing experience that it did for me, which I will definitely be a video at some point, Final Fantasy VI is easily my favorite Final Fantasy, just because of the characters, the story, it's so cool. But 7 was something that changed my life, so I'll do a whole video on that. But Final Fantasy VI, I've not played through 5 on here. I've actually never played through 5 before, ever. So I'm looking forward to finishing 6 and then giving 5 a try at some point. That should be cool. Also, the CGI cutscenes they added in this, pretty cool. They're different, they're interesting. So yeah, I've heard a lot of complaints about the load times on this, but I'm actually playing on a PS2, and the PS2 has that option where you can increase disc load speed for PS1 games, or I guess just for games in general, but I think it's designed for PS1 games. And that's actually made it perfectly fine. I barely know, like the load times are there, but they're not really that noticeable, and they don't bother me at all, so it's been fine. Recommended. The next one I ordered was, I was kind of just on a kick, on an eBay kick, and I saw this, and it was super cheap. I'm talking like, I know it's not like that expensive of a game, but it was like $4. And I was like, okay. So I got Final Fantasy Origins, which is Final Fantasy 1 and 2, kind of like remastered for PlayStation 1. There's CGI cutscenes. They redid the artwork from, obviously it came out on the original Nintendo. So they did a lot of updates to this. And I think the PSP versions that came out were basically just ports of this, because I played those when I was younger, was the PSP versions of these games. That's where I finished them. And the artwork that I'm seeing on the back basically looks identical to me. But I don't know. I have not played through it yet. I wanted to play through it. And then when it arrived, it was sealed. Like, it's sealed. It's never been opened. So I'm like, well, do I bust this open and play it? Do I keep it sealed? I don't know. I think I'm going to open it and play it because I want to play it. And also, I'm almost positive that this is not like original sealing. I can't tell. It's one of those things where it's like, is this originally sealed? I don't know, but I don't think it was originally, like, I don't think it's original sealing. I think like whoever sold this to me, or like if maybe it was in a store and it was sealed. I don't know. It's like a slipcase sealing. Like there's like a little seam back here. So if you know if this is original sealing, let me know. But I think I'm just gonna bust it open anyways. So whatever. But I'm looking forward to this. Final Fantasy 1 and 2, I played them on the PSP. Oh, they were great. They don't have at least Final Fantasy 1 didn't have as like an intricate story as I was used to, because I went backward. I played backwards basically, because I think I just mentioned earlier, Final Fantasy 7 changed my life. It was the first Final Fantasy I played. So I was expecting more of that, but the gameplay was so cool, and I love the party, changing your, like, the class mechanics at the beginning, being able to pick them. That was really cool. Final Fantasy 2, I finished it. I remember thinking, So I don't know. I'll play through them again, and I'll see if my mind's changed with age, because I've become more refined. So there's the PS1 games. Now, Xbox and Xbox 360. I guess let's go backwards again. For 360, I bought this game because it was $3, and I've always felt that I should finish it because I'm a Final Fantasy fan. Final Fantasy 13. I remember playing this and being somewhat disappointed. I liked it. It was okay, but I never finished it because I kind of just got sidetracked and was like, it just didn't do it for me, and I just kind of got bored. But I've always wanted to at least go back and finish it because it's a Final Fantasy game, and I love Final Fantasy. The characters were okay, so it's one of those games where it's just kind of like, it's a Final Fantasy game. I'll own it. It's okay, right? So I'll give it a chance. The graphics though were incredible for the time. I mean, the graphics were awesome. It was just more of like, it was just like the atmosphere just didn't feel the same to me, like the experience. Like I didn't feel like I was playing this, I didn't feel as like swept up into it as I usually got with Final Fantasies. They were always like, whoa, like, wow, this is a crazy experience. This world is incredible. But for this, like, the world is, like, the lore is very large, but I didn't get swept up into it like I did the other games. But I'm hoping that maybe going back to it and having a little bit more of maybe an understanding of what I can expect might help me with my overall experience. So we'll see. The second game is a game that I played so much of, like too much of probably. This is one of those games that I 100%ed. I got every achievement on the Xbox 360. I played all the DLC. I did every single thing you can do in this game. Every day after high school, I'd come home and I'd play this game. This game was like, oh man. And I'd go to school, I'd talk with my friends, we'd talk about it and all the experiences we were having because this game was incredible. I got the Game of the Year edition because I wanted to play it. I wanted the DLC because you can play on Xbox One and it'll upscale it, and that's awesome. So I got Fallout 3 Game of the Year edition with all the DLC. It was pretty cheap too, so definitely recommend that. This game is one of those experiences that's wow. Like, it was the first Fallout game I ever played. Since then, I've gone back. I played Fallout 2, Fallout 1. Fallout 4 did not give me the same feeling I got with Fallout 3. New Vegas, highly recommend. New Vegas is great. But Fallout 3 is just, man, the times I had with this game, the things that I did in here, and just the experiences this game gave me were just mind-blowing at the time. I thought it was so cool, the atmosphere, the game, everything. It combined so many different gameplay elements that I fell in love. I thought it was so awesome. And this is something I highly recommend. Everybody needs to play Fallout 3 at some point because it's worth it. It's definitely worth your time. And this is one of those games that also kind of gave me a little bit of a life-changing experience in the gameplay aspect and like what I can expect from a game. Plus, Liam Neeson's in it, so that's worth it. All right, cool. So that's the 360 games. Let's take a look at the original Xbox games. Now, I actually played both of these games on PC back originally. That's how I played them. But I was looking forward to trying them on my Xbox, my big TV, chilling on my couch, and giving them a try in a new light because I never finished them. I got through a good portion of one of these games. This game I did not because one of my friends spoiled the ending for me. So I was like, it just kind of took all the steam out of it for me. I didn't really want to keep going. But I'm thinking if I go back to it, the game is, from what I remember and from what I've heard from other people, is so incredible that it's worth it. Especially maybe it'll change the experience because now I know the ending. So Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 1. I've actually heard really good things about number 2 too. I've never played it, but that's on my list. I have a huge spreadsheet of games to acquire, and that is one of them. But this game definitely captures that Star Wars feel. Like, unlike any other Star Wars game I've ever played, this is like being in Star Wars, basically. It's so good. I mean, definitely worth your time. And the next is actually made by the same company. And I kind of liked this game a little bit more back in the day because it was so different and I had not played anything like it. Not gameplay-wise, but atmosphere-wise. And that's Jade Empire. And Jade Empire is set in such a cool, like, immersive world. And my favorite memory from Jade Empire is just acquiring the skill to transform into a toad demon. I don't know why I liked it so much, but I would always just power up, turn into a toad demon, and go, yes, yes, and just start attacking. I don't know why that made me so excited, but I thought it was so cool to become a toad demon. So I don't know. I'm very much looking forward to playing this again and unleashing my inner toad demon. So those are my game pickups for this little video, and in the future I'll be doing more of that. Games, maybe I'll buy other stuff, who knows. For example, I'm currently drinking a smoothie in a pouch. That's pretty cool. Will I include a whole video on that? No, probably not, but it's good. So these games are pretty cool. I'm excited to play them. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a good one. See ya.